Good evening everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today we are finally able to talk about the course designer in PGA Tour 2K23. And just to make you aware, obviously I'm sure you can see that the gameplay in the background is of PGA Tour 2K21. It's just from the 3M Open in career mode. Unfortunately, as you're aware, I am on PlayStation. I wasn't able to get hands-on with the preview build of 2K23 as the other next makers were, who are on PC. But I do highly recommend. I'm sure I shouldn't even have to tell you, go and check out their videos as well, as a number of them are very well established designers in the community, and they have been able to get really hands-on with the designer, and they will be able to go into a full-on deep dive and show you exactly what is brand new and how things have changed and what way it works and stuff like that, and you'll be able to actually see it in action as well. So I do highly recommend going and checking out their videos. I'll be doing the same myself. I have dabbled briefly in TGC 1, 2 and 2019 in the designer myself, but I've never gotten further than 3 or 4 holes in, and I've just given up then. I'm just not able for it. It's not my specialty. I prefer playing and doing the playthroughs of the courses as well for you guys. But what I'm going to do anyway is I'd just like to say, before we do get into things, just once again thanks to 2K and HB for the press release here that I have, and also we did have a meeting with them as well regarding the designer a few days ago, and so I have got notes from that, and there was a Q&A there also with a few questions. Now the way that the questions and the notes prior to the Q&A, I've kind of got things a little bit jumbled up, so I will apologise in advance if I do repeat myself and go over points more than once. But you never know, maybe if you did miss something, you'll be able to catch it a second or third time around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through the press release first, and then we'll move on to the notes from the actual meeting. So, the beloved community-focused mode returns with new parts and tools alongside casual quick play modes. PGA Tour 2K23 is poised to feature feature 20 licensed courses at launch on October 14th, 2022, or the 11th if you do purchase the Deluxe or Tiger Woods editions. However, experienced players know they will have the opportunity to create more courses to challenge the entire PGA Tour 2K community, thanks to the return of the beloved franchise staple, the course designer. Using the course designer, members of the PGA Tour 2K community will have created nearly 300,000 unique courses to date for PGA Tour 2K21, resulting in an ever-growing array of new content available for all players to enjoy. PGA Tour 2K23 takes the course designer community relationship to the next level by incorporating a selection of courses built by members of the community into the game at launch. These content creators and their courses include Arctic Fury with Craggy Heights, Sherwood Shores and the training facility, so your driving range. The Overhaul driving range, which was much needed, to be fair. We've had the same one since TGC 2, I do believe it is. Yeah, it wasn't TGC 1. Yeah, TGC 2 definitely. Yeah, so the driving range where you'll be able to practice your shots and warm yourself up before a round or a society event was designed by none other than Arctic Fury himself. Then we have B101 design with Lachlan Crossing and Emery Beach Club, Crazy Canuck 1985 with Old Marina Golf Club and Echo Park Golf Club, Energizer with Long Grove Golf Course and Jacobson Homestead, Madef 21, or 27 should I say, with Foxholm Golf Links and Chestnut Hollow, and Victory Lane Sports with Pothole Lake Golf Club and Huckleberry Country Club. So several of these creators have obviously posted videos, and they've highlighted or featured their own courses that are currently available in the game. And I'm sure you've probably checked them out, but if you haven't, do make sure to go and check those out. The courses are absolutely stunning looking. But the course designer has also received upgrades in PGA Tour 2K23, so the interface has been overhauled to provide smoother access to all the design tools. New cursor selections offer easier access to objects on the course. New spline tool streamlines the process of creating walls and fences, including on sloped terrain, improving on the previous tool that was used for surfaces and bulk planting trees, flowers and natural elements. The majority of trees previously featured in PGA Tour 2K21 have been updated or rebuilt from scratch to improve the visual quality, and a variety of new trees including Arbor Vitae, I think I'm pronouncing that right, and dogwood, and an assortment of 12 new flowers including dahlias, geraniums, poinsettias, poppies, roses and more have been introduced to deck out custom courses. And finally, in addition to the return of the course designer, casual multiplayer modes Divot Derby and 3-hole matchmaking return to keep entire crews of players competitive with their friends and other players across the globe. Divot Derby pits up to 20 players against one another in a race to the tee. The first golfer to make it to the 9th and final hole wins. Players who get knocked out early can watch the rest of the competition in spectator mode. And 3-hole matchmaking is an online multiplayer mode designed to offer new ways to play, with shorter play times and dialed up intensity. Both modes encourage players of all skill levels to jump in and knock out a quick game or two when they don't have time for a full 18 holes. So there you have it. That is the official press release from 2K for the designer in PGA Tour 2K23. And just going to now touch over, as I did mention a few minutes ago in the video, that we did have the meeting with 2K and HB about the designer a few days ago, and there was the Q&A at the end of it, and with the answers to some of the questions that were asked, it does touch back onto what the devs had already sort of touched on as well. So I've got kind of notes from sort of both. They're a little bit jumbled all over the place. I'll try my best, as I say, not to repeat myself on points. But apologies in advance if I do. But to kick things off, you will, as always, with the designer, have complete control over absolutely everything. So even if you've never touched the designer before, you will be able to just go wild. And literally the only limit in the designer is just your own imagination. So you can be as highly detailed as you possibly can, or just slap together a course as quickly as you want. It is completely up to yourself, as always with the designer. So yeah, you have complete control over absolutely everything. When it comes to the courses, created courses and stuff, and your career mode as well, it was touched on by a number of the guys with the preview build and the videos they were putting out. You will be able to swap out courses of fictional events in the career mode during the schedule of that, but any official events, so one that just comes off the top of the mind is the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass. You won't be able to swap out Sawgrass for a different course, but I say any of the fictional, non-official events, you will be able to swap out for any of the featured or curated, highlighted courses, and that is, and it'll help you keep your schedule fresh from season to season. And what they hope as well is that that'll keep players coming back to the career mode rather than just playing through it once, because 2K21, the career mode, did kind of get quite dull with it just being the same courses again and again and again. And I kind of powered through about, I think it was 3 seasons. And I'll say this is from the 3M Open itself, the gameplay in the background, but I'll say it did get kind of dull fairly quick with the way that it worked in 2K21. So yeah, this should make it a lot fresher, and I say keep people coming back to it. And that's another thing, what they want to do post-launch as well, with regards to highlighted courses and featured courses, is they want to find new and up and coming designers, if I can get my words out, that are bringing top content to the game, by highlighting their courses and themselves and the designer themselves, and bring attention to them through adding the courses to multiplayer or the 2K official society, and even up to recommending them for local and private matches. So you never know, you could design a course and it could stand out to them, and next thing you know, with the way that it worked in 2K21, there'd be the featured highlighted course of was it the week or the month, something like that. But when you boot up the game, it'll give you that sort of pop-up message at the main menu. So you never know, your course could easily pop up there one day, if it does stand out to them. And let me see, what else have we got? So moving on with the questions. And moving on with the questions, but I do apologise if I keep getting this horrible little tickle in my throat, so I have to keep cutting out the recording, the commentary. And it's just right as I'm talking, it's just right in the middle of the throat there. But yeah, moving on with the questions and some more of the notes that I got from the devs as well, is that one major thing as well is that people were asking about over the last while is about porting courses over from 2K21. And will you be able to? And the simple answer is yes. I mean, it would be absolutely crazy not to allow that again. I mean, considering the fact that I think it was Sean West himself said there in the meeting was over 280,000. So between 280 to 300,000 unique courses in 2K21 to date. And I mean, they're still, at the moment, they're still getting published each day. Absolutely phenomenal number. So it'd be absolutely crazy not to allow the porting over of courses from 2K21. Now they have put a lot of time into improving the porting over process and hopefully making it a bit easier and a lot smoother. But even though that they are confident that there won't be any issues when porting over your courses, a lot of you may remember when porting over from TGC 2019 to 2K21 that there was a lot of cases of absolute chaos on the courses. That the designer would port over the course and just publish it straight away. Nobody knew that there would have been any issues. And next thing, they're getting messages from players. Say like myself, I'd message one of the designers and say, "Here, your greens are all over the place. There's mountains on the greens now where it should be only subtle breaks and stuff." It was the way that the designer was updated and such, it just kind of threw things off. And the last thing that you want to do is to publish your course and then find out all of a sudden you've got trees floating 10, 20, 30 feet in the air and whatnot. So what they do stress is that courses won't obviously automatically publish once you port them over. You will have to manually do that, but before doing so, they do highly recommend that you just manually go in and just review your course and check it out and make sure that everything is the way that you want it and nothing has gone all crazy and wacky on you like that. And I'd suggest even maybe if you have multiple pin sets, so 1 through 4, just play through. It shouldn't take too long. Just play through the 4 pin sets and just make sure that everything is okay. And make sure you don't have crazy wild slopes all over the greens and say floating trees or buildings or anything like that. But yeah, even though they do say that they're fairly confident that there shouldn't be any issues, it is just to be on the safe side, just on the off chance that there is, to definitely just go in and review them prior to publishing them again. And what they also say as well is that it'll give you the chance that because the new assets, because they have largely, like this kind of touching on to another question about has there been new buildings or anything like that added into the designer, and they have largely focused on the environment, so they've greatly increased the library of trees and bushes and all that sort of stuff. And it'll give you the chance that you'll be able to add in these new features that maybe might just add that little finishing touch to your course. And yeah, be able to publish from then with it new and improved. And as I say, there might have just been that one little thing that maybe was just bugging you maybe. And now hopefully you'll be able to add it in and yeah, publish it again. But definitely, as I say, just go ahead and just review your course before you do publish it once you've ported it over. Another question asked was, is there going to be any new themes in the designer in 2K23 over 2K21? And short answer to that one is they haven't set any new themes, so there won't be any, but the designer will work exactly the same way as it did in 2K21, so you won't be tied to an actual theme. So when you're setting down the base, you're initially setting up your course and what you want it to be, so name-wise and all that sort of stuff. When you select a theme, so we just say the Swiss theme, you're not going to be tied to only Swiss theme assets. You will be able to use the assets as well from all throughout the designer. It doesn't matter whether they're part of the Boreal theme or the Delta theme or the Autumn theme or as a countryside. They're the ones that I can think of anyway off the top of my head, the specific themes. So you'll be able to use absolutely everything. As I did state, that they did say as well that you have complete control in the designer. You're not going to be tied to just one specific theme. You will be able to just go wild with your imagination. That is the only limit that you are going to have. It was briefly mentioned there in the press release as well, and it was asked in the meeting about splines. In two ways it was mentioned. Somebody asked, will you be able to spline out of bounds? Now I know a lot of people have been asking about that. Being able to spline them, just making a lot more finer detail of where the out of bounds starts. Unfortunately, no is the answer. You won't be able to spline the out of bounds. They are still going to be done through the bushes. Now, I don't know, genuinely. Maybe it is something that they might look to in the future, maybe to do it in a patch. Maybe they might work on that. But again, I don't know. And don't quote me on that sort of thing. They never said that they would do that. But at the moment, it will be still just using the brushes. But one good thing about the splines, which will be a bit of a quality of life improvement and ease the workflow for all you designers as well, is in regards to fences and walls. Now, I don't know if this extends onto retaining walls for around water, but you will be able to spline the fences and walls anyway. Again, as I say, I'm not sure. I don't know if that extends to the retaining walls as well, but just say, for example, you want to fence or wall off a certain area of the course, rather than having to place one, then place another and snap it on and snap all the way around where you want that wall to be or the fence. You'll be able to just spline them out there. So in a similar fashion to the way that you'd spline your green fringes or your rough and stuff like that. So yeah, just a bit of a quality of life improvement there with the splines. Let me see, what else have we got? I've touched on that one. I say I'm just trying my best not to go over things again, because I've kind of got things mixed and matched all over the place. Yeah. So one question I was asked: what's the biggest improvements? As I mentioned a moment ago, one of them was making the workflow easier for, in particular, long time designers, because the courses that they pump out, they can pump out quite a lot of courses, and so just to make the workflow for them a lot easier and to make it a lot more friendly and approachable for newcomers. So those of you who may have gone into the designer but straight away backed out, like, as if say, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing here, I'm not even going to touch it. Or even if you've never looked at the designer before, make it a bit more friendly and approachable for you guys. And with doing that, and touching on to another question then was, how did they make it more easier and approachable? And what they did was they worked both internally and with the next makers as well. Obviously, in particular, the designers. So, Crazy Canuck, Arctic Fury, B101, and the others. And what they did was they're basically asking them from their point of view. Excuse me. I'm trying not to let this tickle come back. But yeah, from their point of view, where would they genuinely see the designer becoming overwhelming for somebody who's never been in there before and trying it out for the first time? So that's why they've completely overhauled the whole interface of the designer, and the way that the HUD and the menus and stuff like that will pop up and disappear off the screen as you go in and out of different areas. And hopefully the way that it's done, as I say, will help to encourage more users to dive on in there and maybe dip the toe in, and then eventually just dive right on into the designer and get hooked in there as well. And we'll have even more of you designers in the community. Maybe we might be able to break the record of close to 300,000 courses for a 2K23. Who knows? But yeah, I might even, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I mean, in TGC 1, 2 and 2019, I briefly dabbled. I think I was trying, if I remember correct, I was trying to make the one course throughout those 3 games, and I never got past 3 or 4 holes, even though I'd watched tutorials from Canuck and B101 and such, and I have a good idea of what to do. I just I find certain aspects of it to be overwhelming as well. So hopefully, as they said, they've made it a lot more easier and user friendly, by using the inputs from the guys, from the next makers and the designers in the community. And yeah, that's I say I might even touch into it myself again, and just out of curiosity, even just see what I can do. I will definitely be checking out all their tutorial videos, because I know damn well they're going to have tutorials out. Within the first few months anyway, I'd say they'll invest quite a bit of time into getting that out there for you guys who might be interested. And I'm just looking over my notes now. What else have I got? Yeah, so as well. No, I already touched on that one. I'd say I'm about to go over things again. I am, but yeah. So just to briefly go over things, just important things again. Is just the main important one is just for you guys who have created courses in 2K21. Just if you are porting them over to 2K23, just make sure that you do manually review the course fully yourself, as well as it giving you the opportunity to update the courses. just to manually review them and just make sure that there is no issues prior to publishing them again. And then you end up having to go back in and republish them again, and then there'll be multiple versions of the course, and you have to slightly maybe tweak the name. Yeah, actually, one thing that as well, I'm sure you have all noticed from the preview build videos that the guys did, is that when you're selecting a course, one option that is welcomed back greatly is the View Designer option. And so if you do play a course from a certain designer and you like that course, you can just click on that, and it should take you to a list of courses that that person has designed. The only thing that remains to be seen that I am hopeful for, and it's more so in regards to, say, myself and other content creators, is that it shows the name, because the way that it's worked previously is the only way that we'd see the name in-game of the designer is if they were on the same platform. So in my case, it would be on PlayStation. But what I'd like to, and if it was on if they designed on Xbox or PC, it would just come up TGC member. So one thing that I'm hopeful to see, as I say, more so in regards to content creators, is that, say, for example, on PlayStation, if I click View Designer and it brings up their courses, I'll be able to see, or even just the course that I select, that it will show the designer's name, and maybe if it just says PC, Xbox, PlayStation beside their name, something like that, or maybe even a symbol, sort of similar to what you'd see in Call of Duty with the multi-platform, when you're in the pre-game lobby and stuff, something like that. I'm hoping to see something like that. I had something else on the tip of my tongue and it is gone. Bear with me a second. No, it's gone completely out of my head. I've been sitting here now for about 5 minutes racking my brain trying to think. It was right on the tip of my tongue, and as I was talking about the View Designer, it just completely went out the window. So I'll probably be lying in bed tonight, and straight away my brain will go, oh yeah, this is what you wanted to say. It'll be too late by then. But yeah, that is pretty much everything that I have anyway in regards to the meeting that we had with 2K and HB, and regarding the designer and the press release. But as I did mention at the start of the video, I do highly recommend, even though I should not need to tell you, do go and check out the other guys' videos, in particular the guys who are well established with the designer, and that is their specialty. They will be able to really go in depth and show you exactly how everything works within the course designer of PGA Tour 2K23, and just hopefully it does pique the interest of anybody who has never dabbled in it before. And hopefully it's a lot more user friendly, and that's what they said. They really do want to try and entice a lot more people into the designer, and I may even get the designer bug myself. I'll certainly give it a go again. But yeah, that is everything that I have for you regarding the course designer for PGA Tour 2K23. So this is where we are now going to wrap up the video. I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to drop it a like if you have not done so already, or you're just brand new to the channel. Do consider subscribing, and as always, I will talk to you all in the next video. Until then, take care, have yourselves a good one, and bye for now.